The wait is finally over. After 5 official beta releases of One UI 5 with Android 13, the official One UI 5 OTA update is available for the Galaxy S22 series as of the 24th of October 2022. It's been one interesting journey with One UI 5 beta with Android 13, and now the final OTA update is available. We're going to pretty much cover all things in this final release. Hi, Ben from Sam Mobile. If you enjoy new and exclusive videos like this, then be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos on YouTube with Sam Mobile TV. Here's our full breakdown and overview of One UI 5 with Android 13 on the Galaxy S22. Let's dive straight in. As you can see from the software information section, the last 4 figures of the build number end with BVJA, which is an upgrade from the previous ZVJA from Beta 5. The final Android 13 update still remains on the October security patch, and our models are powered by the Exynos 2200 for UK and Europe, so access to Android 13 will be dependent on your model and region. With that out of the way, let's get into it. We are going to be taking a look at 16 core areas that make up the final One UI 13 experience, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's start with the visual design changes. In terms of the icons and visual looks, there's been a good change made with a slightly bolder look that's easier to look at. There's also changes to the gradients to improve the contrast for a fresher look and overall feel to the icons and looks of them. One area of discussion that has been at the center is animations, animation smoothness, consistency, and speed. Based on our testing, the animation speeds are really good on One UI 5 on the final release, especially when compared to One UI 4.1. In terms of consistency and smoothness, it definitely has seen an improvement, but it's nowhere near what we were expecting, but it's still a good improvement to take on board nonetheless. Let's move over to customization, and this is all to do with what we showcase in depth with Beta 3. We still highly recommend you take the time and watch that video extensively, but we will give you a quick breakdown in this section. You can directly long press on the lock screen to enable the ability to start customizing your lock screen. From then, you have the option to change to your liking, starting from the top, the clock and the date widget. You now have the option to pick between 6 font styles, and then you can pick between 5 different clock styles and also directly from the lock screen as well. Next, you have 10 different color options to select, from 5 being solid and 5 being gradients that will affect the font style. Right at the end to the far right, you have the option for full customization of the colors, which opens up swatches, a full color spectrum, and 6 color slots to save for your custom color options, as well as hex, red, green, and blue input field to be exact with your color options. In the main color row to the far left, there is a toggle to automatically blend and match the font colors to the lock screen wallpaper in use. One thing to note is that the 10 color options between the 5 solid and gradients all change and adapt to the color of the wallpaper picture being used on the lock screen. Next is the notifications lock screen widget. You can now select between 2 options, which is icon only and details. When selecting details, you will then get access to the transparency slider, which affects the background of the notification widget. There is also a toggle to auto reverse the text color of the notifications based on the background color. Next is the option for your contact information. As stated, this is to show information such as your phone number or even your email address on the lock screen so you can be contacted in case your phone is lost and then found. Next is the ability to change the left and right app shortcuts on the lock screen. When tapped into, you have 2 categories of apps to select from, which are apps with no unlock needed and apps with unlock needed. If we then go back to the clock and date widgets, you can also resize it to your liking. When doing so, you do notice that the different clock styles below also correspond and change in real time with it. If we now go to the wallpaper settings and options, you can see another major revamp in how the wallpapers are categorized visually between featured, gallery, graphical, and colors, which are the 2 new additions by the looks of it from what we can see with wallpaper services, showing you previews of the wallpaper styles in large thumbnails, which you can scroll through horizontally. The gallery section actually shows each visible album you have in your gallery with a 4-picture grid preview thumbnail for each one. You can also access each wallpaper category by pressing on the title. If you go back to the 2 new wallpaper categories under graphical, there are 4 new wallpaper options. Under colors, there are 9 options for the wallpapers with 3 gradient colors, 3 solid colors, and 3 with shapes in the design language. One UI 5 now builds on widgets, as you now have the ability to create stacked widgets of your favorite apps. With One UI 4.1, you were limited to just using smart widgets on a few apps like weather, time, and calendar in a stacked nature. But now, you can actually stack widgets and use the widgets from different apps as long as you are within the same size. Once the stacked widgets are created, you can swipe left and right to access them. You can then edit the behavior of the stack widgets by pressing and holding on the stack widgets and then selecting Edit Stack, which then shows the option to toggle auto-rotate widgets to automatically show you the most relevant information from each widget. When within the edit stack, you have the option to remove widgets or add new widgets as well. The new Smart Widget Suggestions gives you useful information based on your most used apps and services on your device. Bixby Modes and Routines now sees a more streamlined, simplified revamp, which now makes it easier to choose between modes based on what you're doing, such as sleep, driving, exercise, relax, work, and also the ability to make your own custom mode. As we first saw in Beta 1, multitasking is more streamlined and easier to activate. Under the Advanced Features section, Labs is now placed right at the top as the first option. Within Labs, you now have 2 additional multitasking options to toggle, which are Swipe for Pop-Up View and Swipe for Split Screen. Excluding the Multi-Window All Apps toggle, when you click on the other 3 Labs options, you can now see a nice visualization demo of the Advanced Labs feature and how it works when enabled. What's nice is that when you're using these features, you get a nice haptic feedback to indicate that it's working. The Connected Devices menu has now been added to the settings, making it quicker and easier to access features that work with other devices like QuickShare and Samsung DeX. Let's move over to the camera and gallery improvements. It's much easier to zoom in and out with a one-handed swipe, as the zoom bar has been condensed. When in Pro mode for both videos and photos, there's now a small eye icon for information that gives you a nice and concise breakdown of what each lens is best used for. There's also now a histogram in the Pro mode for better and more accurate exposure measurements. Within the camera app settings, there's now an option to toggle on a watermark to be added to your pictures. Within the watermark setting, you have the option to add and change the model number, add the date and time, with the option to change the alignment of the watermark in 3 different positions and change the font style as well. The 3x telephoto lens now works in the food mode. Single take mode has seen a revamp with a more streamlined look, with changes to the icon and less options for faster recording times, making it easier to capture great shots. Picking filters either in the camera, photo editor, or video editor is now much easier, as all the filters are available in one list, making it easier to select the best filter. In the album section, there's now an option to create an auto-updating album that auto-updates to include pictures of people you select. The photo editor now allows you to create stickers from any picture in your gallery. When you press edit and then select the select tool, you can then pick any part of the picture you want as a sticker and adjust the stroke outline thickness with different colors of your choice. You can also now trim and adjust the ratio of animated GIFs to make them the right size. You can now also keep the ability to change the portrait mode effects when you make changes to original portrait mode picture, like cropping or changing the filters. You can now draw perfect shapes using the pen tool when editing. You can draw shapes like a circle, triangle, or heart shape. Hold down your finger on the screen after finishing your drawing and the shape will instantly transform. 15 new stickers are created by default when you create a new AR emoji, giving you more options out of the box. You can also download more stickers for even more options of expression. There are now more options to make the native Samsung keyboard your own, with an additional 80 emojis available with the ability to combine them as emoji pairs. You can also rearrange the expression buttons in order of your choosing. Thanks to improvements in AI and software on One UI 5, you can now extract text using the Samsung keyboard, internet, gallery app, and even extract text from a screenshot. Samsung DeX has seen improvements with an enhanced taskbar and the addition of a search button to make it easier to find apps you want to use. You can also customize which buttons appear in the taskbar. A red dot will appear on the notification button in the taskbar when new notifications have been received. The mini calendar has been added by clicking on the date in the taskbar to quickly check your calendar and schedule. The notification settings has now been revamped and scaled down for a simpler look. you now have options to first select app notifications followed by the lock screen notifications, the notifications pop-up style, do not disturb, and advanced settings. When in the app notification section, you can press on each notification individually for each app for more options on how the notifications are controlled by that app, which also shows a visualization toggle for the 3 notification tabs backed with the hide content and lock screen toggle below as well. The overall notifications area has been given a slight tweak with a slightly bolder look, especially to the icons, and a slightly more separated look to them. Much like you find natively in Android 13, you can now choose which language will be used for each app that supports it in the settings. Individual contacts can now be set in do not disturb mode, allowing phone calls and messages from a selected amount of contacts to even come through when do not disturb is enabled. The sounds and vibration settings have also been streamlined and given more options in certain areas. Each sound section, such as the ringtone, notifications, and system area, when inside, now has a sound level slider at the top. You now have the ability to fully disable RAM Plus. When you head into the device care settings under memory, you can go to the RAM Plus option. There's now a toggle for RAM Plus to fully disable it. This still requires you to restart your device, but regardless, this is a great option to finally see. More accessibility options have been added to the quick panels, such as high contrast font, color inversion, color adjustment, and color filter for easier access when in the quick notifications panel. The magnifier shortcut can also be enabled in the accessibility settings for quicker access. Key additional changes that are now active. In the clock app, you can now finally activate multiple timers, giving you the ability to set multiple timers at the same time and scroll through them. When you press the power button 5 times, a siren sounds off and a countdown begins from 10 to start calling the emergency services. After 5 official beta releases, the official Android 13 release for One UI 5 is now here for the Galaxy S22 series. It will be a staggered release for the other devices such as the Galaxy S21 series and any previous legacy models that will still support it. If you finally got the OTA update for Android 13 for One UI 5 for your device, let us know your experience so far in the comment section below. For the latest news in the world of Samsung Daily, be sure to visit us at sammobile.com. And for the latest videos on YouTube with Sam Mobile TV, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, and we will see you next time.